In the journey to scaling your Amazon KDP business beyond the 10K a month milestone, we've covered the foundations of branding, the art of niche selection, and the power of outsourcing and systemization. As we pivot into this fourth and equally pivotal phase, I invite you to broaden your horizon even further. It's time to look at diversification, and in this segment, I'll share my insights into expanding your publishing portfolio across different formats and platforms. And I'll disclose a platform that I think is on the rise. Let me start by telling you a story. It was July 2022 when I received an email from Amazon KDP saying that my account had been shut down. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't be reading it correctly. I was waking up to every self-publisher's nightmare. The email said that I published a title for which I didn't have the necessary rights to. I quickly realized that this is a technical error. I replied to the email explaining that this must be an error because I did own the rights to this book. I emailed them back and forth about 4 times, and every time they replied with a generic response stating that they were going to uphold their previous decision. And then I got the final response. Please be advised that this is our final decision and we won't be offering further insights or action on this matter. My heart stopped. Over 6 years of work being removed overnight. Because of what? Something I did not even do. Anyone who knows me personally knows that I can almost border a little bit on the paranoid side. I've always taken great care in sticking to the KDP terms of service because I've seen this happen to other publishers, but I never thought it could happen to me. To give you some hope, I was eventually able to get the account back and an apology from the author experience team on KDP. So kudos to them. And to top it off, as given as a gift from God for the injustice I've just experienced, my sales on another platform called IngramSpark skyrocketed for July, making around $60,000 in a single month. So the moral of the story is that once you've reached a certain point in your Amazon KDP journey, I think it's wise to consider diversifying your income streams. So you don't keep all your eggs in one basket if something goes sideways, but also to give yourself opportunities to make even more income. So which are the main platforms I would be looking at? For ebooks, I'd consider platforms such as Draft to Digital or Publishdrive. For paperbacks and hardcovers, I'd consider IngramSpark. And for audiobooks, I'd consider ACX or Findaway Voices, depending on where you live. There's one interesting thing I've noticed in my recent income reports for audiobooks, and that is an increase in the royalties coming from Spotify. Therefore, I think Spotify might be one platform to look out for when it comes to audiobooks. Spotify now owns Findaway, so if you publish there, you'll get distributed to Spotify, and as of the recording of this video, there's no fee from Findaway Voices on the royalties from Spotify. If you're currently publishing on ACX and you have something that's working there, I wouldn't be too quick to go non-exclusive for your future titles yet. Perhaps wait and see until more publishers start to confirm that Spotify is now representing a significant percentage of their audiobook income. Lastly, let's discuss the possibility of making money beyond the books. Let me tell you what some publishers have done. They've turned their books into courses to sell on the back end for a much higher price, since people are willing to pay more for courses. This might be something worth looking into, especially if your audience and email list is getting quite big. If you're writing books under your own name, then even more opportunities open up. You could offer workshops, personal coaching, or even done-for-you services. Something I advise against when it comes to diversification is starting a completely unrelated business. You want your efforts to eventually compound, and if you're starting things that aren't related to each other, you're not fully in alignment with the snowball effect. It's like we discussed in part 1 of this video series. We ideally want to be the lighthouse publisher and avoid simply building things with darkness between them. As we reach the end of this 4-part video series on scaling your Amazon KDP business beyond the 10K a month milestone, I want to encourage you to keep learning. One of the best investments I've ever made, even more so than investing in my business, was investing in myself. Because if I didn't start by investing in myself, I never would have had this business in the first place. I also want to encourage you to keep reinvesting in your business and think long term. Double down on what works, and remember what we talked about when it comes to being the lighthouse publisher. We ideally want to stay focused on one brand so our efforts can compound and we're able to get that sweet snowball effect. Lastly, I encourage you to keep going. Even if you're hitting roadblocks and face challenges, never give up. I could easily have given up after receiving the email saying that this was their final response. But I didn't. I kept fighting, and so should you. If you don't want to fight alone, then consider joining our free community on Skool and become surrounded by other people who are on a similar journey to you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.